Everyone in Black Hollow still talks about the night Emily Harper disappeared. She was 17, straight A student, part-time barista at the only decent coffee place in town. Long dark hair she always wore loose, the kind that caught the streetlights like silk. People said she had a smile that made you feel guilty for looking too long. That Friday in October she texted her best friend at 11:47 p.m., heading home now. Some creep keeps following me on Maple. Probably nothing. She never made it the 3 blocks from the coffee shop to her house. The police found her phone smashed against a curb on Maple Street, screen cracked like a spider web, one pink sneaker lying on its side in the gutter. No blood, no scream marks, just gone. They searched for weeks. Drones over the woods, divers in the cold black lake 2 miles out. Nothing. Eventually the posters faded. The candlelight vigils stopped, and Emily became one of those stories older kids tell younger ones to scare them on sleepovers. But she wasn't gone. Not really. Long, dark hair whipping in the wind. White dress soaked through, clinging like a second skin. Bare feet on the frozen gravel. Ryan slammed the brake. The truck fishtailed. Tires screaming. He stopped inches from her. She didn't move. He rolled down the window, heart hammering. Hey, you okay? You need help? She slowly turned her head. Her face was wrong. Too pale, eyes too wide, lips parted in a smile that showed too many teeth. Ryan felt ice crawl up his spine. Then she spoke, voice soft, almost sweet. You left me out here, Ryan. He knew that voice. He'd heard it laughing in the hallways of Black Hollow High. He'd heard it begging in his nightmares for the last 3 months. Emily? She took one step forward. Gravel crunched under her bare foot. You were there that night, she said. You all were. Ryan's mouth went dry. Memories he'd buried deep clawed their way up. The bonfire in the woods, the dare, the bottle spinning, the laughter turning mean. Emily walking away angry after they'd pushed too far with their stupid joke. Him and 3 others following her just to scare her. The dark path, the shove, the scream cut short when she hit her head on a rock. They'd panicked. They'd carried her deeper. They'd left her. And they'd sworn never to speak of it again. Ryan's hands shook on the wheel. That wasn't we didn't mean. She tilted her head. Rain ran down her face like tears she couldn't cry anymore. You left me to bleed out alone in the dark, she whispered. Now it's your turn to feel it. The headlights flickered. Once, twice, then died. Darkness swallowed the road. Ryan fumbled for his phone. No signal. Screen frozen on Emily's last text from 3 months ago. He heard footsteps. Slow, deliberate, coming closer. Something tapped on the driver's window. Tap, tap, tap. He didn't want to look, but he did. Her hand was pressed flat against the glass, fingers splayed, palm bleeding black, and written in that black across the window, in her own handwriting, 1. Ryan screamed. The truck rocked once hard, like something massive had slammed into it from behind. Then silence. When the sun came up, the truck was still there. Engine cold, door open. No Ryan. Just one pink sneaker on the driver's seat, and on the windshield, in drying black streak, 4 left. She'd been the loudest laugh that night in the woods, the one who filmed everything on her phone, giggling as Emily stumbled, as the joke turned ugly. Mia had posted the blurry clip to her private story the next day, caption, epic fail LOL, then deleted it before anyone could screenshot. She told herself it was fine. Emily was probably just drunk and ran off. Kids do stupid shit. Now Mia was 20, working nights at the 24-hour diner on the edge of town. She liked the quiet shift, just her, the hum of the fluorescent lights, the occasional trucker, and the smell of burnt coffee. That night the diner was dead. Rain hammered the roof like fists. Around 2:17 a.m. the bell above the door jingled. Mia looked up from wiping the counter. A girl stood in the doorway, soaked, long dark hair plastered to her face, white dress dripping puddles on the checkered floor, bare feet leaving wet prints. Mia's stomach dropped. She knew that dress. Emily had worn it to homecoming sophomore year, the one with the lace sleeves Mia had once borrowed. The girl didn't move, just stared. Mia forced a smile. We're, closing soon. Kitchen's off. Coffee only if you want. No answer. The girl took one step inside. The door swung shut behind her on its own. Click. Mia's hand slid toward the phone under the counter. Hey, you okay? You look freezing. The girl lifted her head slowly. Rainwater ran from her hair like black tears. You filmed it, Mia, she said, voice calm, almost kind. You laughed while I bled. Mia's throat closed. The phone slipped from her fingers and clattered to the floor. That's not... I didn't. Emily was right in front of the counter now, close enough that Mia could see the bruise blooming purple across her temple, the old one that never healed. I'm sorry, Mia choked out. We were drunk. We were stupid. Please. Emily reached out. Her fingers brushed Mia's wrist. Ice. Burning ice. The touch spread. Mia's arm went numb, then heavy, like it belonged to someone else. She looked down. Her hand was turning gray. veins blackening under the skin, spreading like ink and water. Emily tilted her head. You like filming things. Let's make one more. The security camera in the corner whirred. The red light blinked on. Mia tried to scream, but her voice was gone. Her tongue felt thick, swollen. Emily leaned in, lips almost touching Mia's ear. Smile for the camera, Mia. The light snapped off completely. Darkness. When the morning shift arrived at 6 a.m., the diner was silent. Coffee pots cold, floor still wet, but no footprints led to the door. Mia was behind the counter, propped against the register like she'd fallen asleep standing. Her phone was in her hand, camera facing her. The last video on her gallery played on loop when they found it. A shaky shot of her own face, eyes wide, mouth open in a silent scream, black veins crawling up her neck like roots, and the words scratched into the counter with something sharp, maybe a nail, maybe a fingernail. 3 left. The police took the phone as evidence. Watched the video frame by frame. In the very last second before the screen went black, you could see it if you paused and zoomed. Mia's reflection wasn't alone. Tyler Voss had always been the planner. The one who said we can fix this when the blood was still warm on the rock. The one who chose the deepest part of the ravine to drag her body. The one who made them all swear on their mother's graves they'd take the secret to theirs. Now 24, he lived alone in a rented cabin 20 miles outside Black Hollow, deep in the pine thicket where cell service died at the county line. He'd quit drinking after Ryan vanished, stopped going into town, boarded the windows at night, kept a loaded shotgun by the door and another under the bed. He told himself it was paranoia. He told himself ghosts weren't real. But every night at exactly 3:33 a.m., the time the coroner later estimated, Emily had stopped breathing. He woke up gasping, convinced someone was standing at the foot of his bed. He never saw anything, just the smell. Wet leaves, iron, faint gardenia perfume Emily used to wear. Tonight the clock hit 3:33. Tyler sat bolt upright, sweat soaking his shirt. The room was cold enough to see his breath. The fire in the hearth had died to embers without him noticing. He reached for the shotgun. It wasn't there. The bedside lamp wouldn't turn on. He fumbled for his phone. Dead. Completely dead, even though he'd charged it an hour ago. Then he heard it, a soft knock. From inside the cabin, not the front door, from the closet. Knock, 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 slow, patient. Tyler's mouth tasted like copper. He backed toward the bedroom door, eyes locked on the closet. The knob turned. Click. The door creaked open an inch. Darkness inside thicker than it should be. A voice slipped out small, cracked, the way Emily's sounded when she cried after her dog died in 9th grade. Tyler, you promised you'd never leave me. He choked on his own spit. The door swung wider. She stepped out. Same white dress, now torn at the hem, stained dark at the collar. Hair longer than he remembered, trailing wet across the floorboards like spilled ink. Her bare feet left black footprints that smoked faintly. She wasn't walking so much as gliding feet barely touching the ground. Tyler raised shaken hands. Stay back. I'll call someone. You already called, she said softly. You called my name that night, over and over, while I was dying. He stumbled into the hallway, backed toward the living room. She followed. Not fast, not slow, inevitable. You said we should leave her, that no one would find out. Her voice layered, now Emily's voice underneath something older, colder. You were wrong. Tyler hit the back wall. Nowhere left. He looked around wildly. The shotgun was on the kitchen table. How? He hadn't moved it. He lunged for it. His fingers closed around the stock. Cold. Too cold. The metal burned like dry ice. He yanked his hand back. Skin stuck. Peeled away in strips. Emily was suddenly right there. Inches away. He could see the fracture lines in her skull under the pale skin like cracked porcelain. She reached up, touched his cheek with one finger. The touch spread like frostbite. Tyler screamed as feeling left his face, then his neck, then his chest. He looked down. His skin was turning the color of wet cement, cracking, flaking away in gray curls. Emily leaned close, lips brushing his ear. You planned everything so carefully, she whispered. Let me plan this one. She stepped back. The cabin lights flared once bright white, then exploded in showers of sparks. Darkness again, but not total. A faint glow came from the fireplace. Embers had reignited on their own. In the orange light, Tyler saw his reflection in the window. His eyes were gone, just black sockets leaking tar. His mouth stretched wide in a grin he didn't feel, and in the glass written backwards so he could read it. You plan the grave, I plan the rest. He tried to scream again. No sound came. His body jerked once, like a puppet on cut strings, then collapsed. When the county sheriff finally got the anonymous tip a burner call from a payphone that no longer existed and kicked in the cabin door 2 days later, they found Tyler sitting upright in the armchair armchair, fully dressed, eyes open, but not breathing. His phone was clutched in his lap, screen cracked but still glowing. One video playing on loop. It showed Tyler's own face close-up, terrified, filmed from inside the closet. Behind him in the frame, Emily stood silent, watching. At the very end, right before the screen died, she lifted one hand, palm out. Black veins spelled a single number, 2. The sheriff's deputy who watched the video threw up in the bushes outside, because in the reflection of Tyler's dead eyes, you could just make out another shape, a fourth person, watching from the tree line, still alive for now. The remaining two, Lila and Connor, hadn't spoken in months, but that night, both of them woke up at 3:33 a.m. Both heard the same whisper in the dark, both smelled gardenia and wet earth, both found a single pink sneaker on their pillow when the lights came on, and both knew, one left after you.